Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is Scream Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie. Wait, cut. I got a better idea. You ready? Here we go. Hi, folks. I'm Derek Lemaster.
I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm confused.
You're Lydia Judy because we watched Freaky, so we switched bodies, you see?
Got it.
There you go.
Come on. How are you guys doing tonight?
Man.
This is the
Doing great.
Scream Bloody Movies, by the way. Scream Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. And we talk about it. And we go over the horror news. And we have a good time. You guys doing good tonight? I am doing great.
Doing great.
It's weird being in Jamie's super tight bod as Derek.
I think you just called me fat.
Hey, Lydia, or hey, Derek, how does it feel having boobs?
I've had them for a while, man. Oh, boy.
Oh, man, it's already off the rails.
Already
Guys.
went off the cliff.
Already off the cliff. Derek, you picked Freaky this week, so that's what we are going to be talking about. And we have a lot to say about it. But first, before we get into that, I want to go over a bit of horror news here. Because, guys, we got some pretty cool things that popped up here recently. So let me go over some of them here. Let's start with this one. So I told you guys about Monarch, the Apple TV show with that's Godzilla.
Yep.
They have greenlit season 2, so we're gonna get some more Godzilla MonsterVerse stuff because Godzilla Kong is like raking in the bucks at the box office, and it's also a hell of a lot of fun. Are you guys excited to see more MonsterVerse stuff?
Yep. I'm really sad I haven't been able to break away to watch that one, but
It's really good. Kurt Russell, man. Kurt Russell is in this thing, and his son Wyatt playing the same character in different time periods. It's phenomenal.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I've not
Just
seen it. I saw a clip of Monarch on YouTube, but I don't have Apple TV, so I have an Apple TV, but I don't have the streaming service.
Yeah, it's good. I have it specifically for Monarch. Yeah, I think originally I got it so I could watch that Tom Hanks war movie, Greyhound. And I've had it ever since because they keep putting some good stuff on there, like that. There's the Masters of Air I watched, which is a phenomenal World War II fighter plane story. It's amazing. But yeah, I love this Godzilla-sance that we're in. Bring on the Godzilla, bring on Kong. Kaiju City, right, guys? I know your mom, Lydia, is a huge Godzilla fan. So she's probably eating at this point with all this Godzilla that's coming out.
And she loves Kurt Russell a lot, too.
Who doesn't love Kurt Russell? Kurt Russell is one of my all-time favorite guys. Not even actors, just one of my all-time favorite guys that have lived on the earth. Like you, Kurt Russell. You're the coolest. Guys, we have an update on Smile 2, A Slight Frown.
I'm glad to see they went with my title.
Unfortunately, they haven't. It's still just Smile 2, but we have plot details. Okay? So, basically, because this just aired there's CinemaCon just happened this past week. So we got some footage and a little bit of teaser stuff for a lot of different movies, and Smile 2 was one of them. And in the teaser footage, according to Slash Film, the teaser footage shows a new character played by Naomi Scott, a music celeb whose glamorous world is about to get dragged to hell. After a few glimpses of her pop star performances, the footage showed Scott's character getting a shock when a man breaks into her dressing room and smiles creepily at her. Elsewhere in the footage, she is confronted by a kid with braces who flashes a similar malevolent smile. So it looks like we're following a pop star in this one. I'm sure
Wow.
we'll get some sort of closure for the living character of Smile. But what do you guys think of this storyline?
Yeah, it's not where I expected it to go.
No, definitely not. What do you think, Derek?
It sounds interesting. I'm still just so devastated that they ruined the ending to the first one. So we'll see if they can redeem themselves.
Maybe they'll probably end it the same way this time. They're gonna like come out and personally kick you in the balls.
They're gonna have a perfect ending, and then they're gonna fuck it up by being no, just kidding.
Yep. They're gonna throw a twist on it. All right. This is pretty cool news, guys. Edgar Wright, the great Edgar Wright, is directing a new version of The Running Man, starring Glenn Powell.
The Running Man.
Yes. You remember The Running Man, right?
Schwarzenegger?
The Arnold Schwarzenegger classic, where he's in the game show.
Stephen King short, wasn't it?
I've never seen that one.
Oh, you haven't? The Running Man's a lot of fun. It's not really horror, but I mean, it's a Stephen King. We might do it in Stinker King-tober or whatever the fuck we call it. We might hit it up then because it's a Stephen King caption.
Who's the main character or the main actor?
Glenn Powell. He is from Top Gun Maverick in Anyone But You. Okay. In the new Twister movie. He's great. It's phenomenal.
I gotcha.
But he is going to be the lead. I think this one's going to be more like, who knows if it's going to be darker. I hope not, because I think that it needs to be just as silly. Well, Edgar Wright's doing it, so I'm assuming it's going to be just as fun. Edgar Wright makes fun movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is like a good marriage of material and director, I think.
Sounds cool.
And, I mean, the original Running Man, Lydia, you've got to see it. It's a lot of fun, isn't it, Derek?
It is.
I mean, you have Arnold. You have Jesse the Body Ventura. You have people with like electricity that shock people. They like wear like electro suits. It's like in a big American Gladiator game show, and they kill each other. You also have
I'm definitely down to watch that.
You have Richard Dawson from The Family Feud as Killian, the host of The Running Man. What do you think of that?
That's insane. That's insane. Yeah, I've always like seen the movie like cover, but I never like it never happened, I guess,
It's a minor action classic, I think. I think it's fun.
I love Arnold movies. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even the worst one is a lot of fun. The worst one is even fun, right? I mean,
yeah.
Those 80s movies.
He's just so great to watch.
He is. He's charismatic. Even if, if you put him in, if he's miscast, he's wooden. But, I mean, you give him the right part and he's freaking phenomenal. Because he just does what he does. He does Arnold shit. I know this is a little off topic, but fucking Commando, guys, 10 out of 10. Commando is one of the funniest, coolest movies ever made. Especially since
that one either.
Oh my! You've seen Commando, right, Derek?
Yeah, I've seen Commando. Are you kidding me?
The villain is the best. Lydia, I'm gonna show you this villain real fast. Vernon Wells plays Bennett, the villain of Commando, and this is what Bennett looks like. There he is.
Oh my gosh!
Look, there he is, Bennett. Looks like Freddie Mercury wearing chainmail.
Yeah,
it does actually, yeah.
That is a heck of a mustache.
He's the best villain because he like.
I love the scene where Arnold's just like carrying a giant log. For whatever.
That they're just carrying logs on his shoulder. Yep.
He holds a
he holds.
yeah.
Yeah, he holds a villain up by one arm, like he's. Remember when I said I'd kill you last, Sully? I lied. Has some of the best lines. One more commando bit is there's a part in it where, out of nowhere, Bennett starts soliloquying to the main villain about how like terrible everybody is and how great Bennett is. He's like, "Your pissant soldiers make me laugh. If Bennett was here, or if your pissant soldiers make me laugh. If Matrix was here, he'd laugh too." You're just like, what are you talking about? By the way, Arnold's name is John Matrix in Commando. Fucking coolest name. All right, back to the horror news. Guys, we have a release date for Strangers Chapter 2. Not quite a full release date, but it looks like this guy is going to be releasing in the fall of this year.
So we get... when is the Strangers one? Chapter 1.
Chapter 1 will be releasing in May 17th of 2024. So then Part 2 is releasing in the fall of this year. And it's not a remake of the 2008 movie, despite the trailer suggesting it might be. The setup may be the same, but it's a completely different movie, apparently. So this is still a mystery. The Strangers, I'm really interested in what we're getting here. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
So I saw the original, like the first one, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I do remember it being. I don't want to say scary, but it was awkward in a scary way, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, it was very tension filled.
Yeah.
Unsettling.
Yeah, unsettling.
There you go, Lydia. That was a perfect word. Unsettling.
That's how I felt.
The whole time, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. That movie made me sick the first time I watched it. So that's why I'm not like super looking forward to the next one, because I'm like, that movie was a little bit too scary for me.
I love how Derek starts it off with, "I don't think it's scary," and Lydia's like, "It's terrifying."
It made me nauseous. I was like, this is getting to me. Like something about that is so scary.
Yeah, the suspense aspect of it for sure, because
the tension,
put your gut in a knot.
All right, guys, we have the trailer for Maxine. It has released. Did you guys have a chance to check it out?
Dang it, I forgot to check that out. I saw someone share it too.
I've seen the trailer thumbnail, but I have not watched it yet.
It's good. It's cool. I checked it out. It's a lot of fun. Basically, Maxine is in Hollywood and is a adult star, obviously, and she's trying to make her big break into a horror movie. At the same time as the Night Stalker Killers. The Night Stalker Killer is happening.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. At the same time. Yeah.
Oh no, that is really scary.
Yep. So the official synopsis is, in 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Meeks finally gets her big break. But as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. So, sounds pretty cool. I mean,
wow.
You know how we felt about X. We still have to do Pearl. But sounds good. The trailer's fun. Kevin Bacon is in it, by the way.
What?
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon is in it.
I think you mentioned
it.
Well, we have to do it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer and I was like, fucking Kevin Bacon, man.
Hell yeah.
So there we go. Also, there's a great line where she says something about somebody asks her, well, who, what stars have ever made it out of, what stars have ever made it from being a horror actor to stardom? And she was like, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Travolta. She names a couple, and then she says, Maxine fucking Minx. I was like, yeah. I'm in. That sounds cool.
Did she say Kevin Bacon?
No, but that is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
She was gonna say that, yeah.
No, that'd have been probably too meta. They left that one out.
Ugh,
But
perfectly meta.
speaking of meta, guys, we're getting a reboot of the Scary Movie franchise.
Of the Scary Movie?
Yeah, Scary Movie, the franchise, is returning.
Oh no.
In
A
2000,
complete reboot?
in 2025. That's what it says so far. It's being made as a part of a partnership of Paramount's First Look with Miramax. We don't have anything else really, but we just know that they're going to start production in the fall of 2024, and it's likely to arrive in 2025. Hopefully, they get Anna Faris back, right? Because she's fucking brilliant.
She's so funny.
Yeah. So, and Regina Hall needs to come back too because they're fucking hilarious together. So, what are you guys thinking about a reboot of Scary Movie or a new Scary Movie in just general?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, who's gonna be in it? What's it gonna be like?
I mean, it's been almost 20 years since we've had a proper one, you know? I mean, the spoof genre kind of died for a while, and now it looks like it's trying to make a comeback because not only is this happening, but Liam Neeson is starring in a reboot of the Naked Gun franchise.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that should be fun
You're
too.
just
Produced
full
by
of
Seth
information tonight.
MacFarlane.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be funny.
Yeah, that should be good. You know, nothing beats the original Naked Gun trilogy. Those movies are just so funny. And
I mean, they're akin to the Airplane.
oh yeah, I mean, it's the
movie.
same people
Yeah.
made them. Yeah, Airplane is one of the best. You know which one I also like a lot is Wrongfully Accused. That's a pretty solid one. And Spy Hard is actually pretty fucking funny too.
Do you remember what was the one with Charlie Sheen? The spoof
Oh,
movie?
Hot Shots.
Hot
Those
Shots.
are fucking great.
Dude. Yeah, those
Yeah,
are good.
those are great too.
I'm
the
gonna
Hot Shots
dip
movies.
my hands in M&Ms and I'm gonna battle
Yeah.
Eugene.
Yeah, it's so funny. That movie's so good. The one thing I always remembered was, "You have your father's eyes." Yes, I keep them with me, and he has them in like a fucking container. Yeah, Hot Shots is good. Lloyd Bridges was in those. He was really great in those. And then also Mafia was another one they made around that time, which was pretty solid. But that wraps up the horror news, guys. So I thought it best to end on bringing back Scary Movie because it is a comedy, and we're going to talk about Freaky, which is a horror comedy. So Derek, you picked this, and Lydia, you've seen this before, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen it? So this is
No.
both of your guys' first time watching this.
Yes.
Now, Derek, you didn't know anything about this, right?
The only thing I knew about this movie going in was the opening scene that I saw on YouTube, which drew me in. And then when we started discussing it, you guys had mentioned a couple of things that kind of like gave the twist away before I started watching it. So I had an inkling as to what was going to happen, but that was like my minimal knowledge.
And you didn't know the tone of it either, did you?
No, I did not. I did not know that.
So you picked this based off the opening because you thought it was going to be a Friday the 13th style knockoff slasher.
Yeah, well, and Vince Vaughn I hadn't seen him do much, and then just from this movie was way different than I expected in the best way possible. But so from the opening scene, like it reveals that he's the killer at the end, and I'm like, what is this? And then I thought somebody like based on what you guys had said, I was like, oh, someone must be like jumping bodies, and they went into his body and did this. But yeah, I mean, yep, that's what I knew.
So Lydia, you knew the plot, right? You knew the plot.
Yeah. I had seen the whole trailer a while back, and I thought it looked really funny. I just never like found the time to watch it, but it had been on our list, so I'm glad Derek picked it.
Yeah, me too. This is my second time seeing this. I saw it when it first released during the pandemic, because it released on the HBO Max originally, and so I watched it, and I got a bunch of laughs out of it, and I was like, hey, it's a lot of fun. So I mentioned it to you guys, but you guys, I just mentioned, hey, we got to do this at some point, and then it just kind of fell off the radar. So I'm glad Derek brought it back. So this is my second time seeing it, but like I said, I only seen it one time 4 years ago. So a lot of it was not. I knew the plot, but all the jokes still landed because I hadn't seen it in that long.
Nice.
So there's some of the jokes that when we get to a point, I'll tell you where I laughed super hard. But yeah. So the setup, guys, is we get this, like you said, Derek, a proper slasher movie opening. What do you guys think of those kills in the opening?
They're good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Pretty solid, fun kills, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like the bottle kill. That's fun.
Yep.
The toilet head slam is pretty funny too.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
The tennis racket was a good one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. That's fun. Yep. That's good. And then her kill's good too, because he just slams her onto the spike that he already threw into the wall.
Yeah.
And we get like a
for
fake
the parents
out
to discover.
Yeah, because we get a fake out because we think she's gonna you don't think she's gonna survive because it's a cold open to a slasher movie. Usually they don't, but you don't know. So you're like, oh, she's gonna get to the parents or whatever, and then he jumps out at her, and so we get like a proper slasher opening with just a little bit of the hint of the supernatural with the glowing dagger. We see the end of the dagger glow, and then he steals it. And then we're just thrust into this story where we meet our heroine. What do you guys think of this?
Go ahead.
Are you there? Or what were you going to say, Derek?
Well, I was going to say her name because I thought you forgot it, but that's okay.
Oh, so no, it's Millie. Yeah, it's Millie.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, what did I think about I love her little family dynamic.
No, I agree. Yeah.
You get the backstory and it's super sympathetic. So you attach to her pretty well. Also, the actress, I think, did a really great job. And
at both roles. Yeah, she does a great job at both roles.
Oh, she did. And I loved...
Dude, Vince Vaughn, we'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah, that's a conversation in and of itself. But yeah, she did really great in that. But, they set it up. Her dad died. Her mom is having a really hard time. And her sister's just...
a cop, Char, she's...
well, she's
put
just
herself into work.
Not ready for it, so she's just work. She doesn't want to deal with the home stuff. Just work. So, yeah, it sets it up pretty good.
Yeah, and then we meet her dynamic at school. We see that she's bullied by this super annoying girl and by this guy that scares her all the time. We meet her two best friends, which are fucking great. I love these guys.
They are.
What do you think of the best friends?
They're so funny.
Oh my god, Josh and Nyla, yeah, they're so good. And we get to see Cameron as the Alan Ruck as the asshole fucking shop teacher.
Yeah.
My god, what a horrible teacher this guy. And why does he fucking hate her specifically so much?
Like, give her a break.
God damn, her dad just passed away. She's trying to make it through. And he's just like, shop is the most important. And you're like, dude, no, fucking shop sucks, guys.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, man. Give her a break. Instead of that, he doubles down and he's real hard on her. And it's just not sympathetic whatsoever. He's like, oh, you're drawing attention to yourself again?
Yeah,
and then,
it's wild.
Dude, when he is like, are you ready to present your project? And she was like, it's not due until next week. You always need to be prepared. I'd have been like, fuck you. I have a date you said it was supposed to be due, and I'll have it done then. But that was a doghouse that they were supposed to build.
Dude, that kid's all about it. Casa de Dog.
Casa de Dog, yeah.
The little window.
Get out of here.
So fun. He's like, all you need is some music in there and the dog will be happy. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I laughed at that stupid doghouse.
Oh, yeah, it was good. So yeah, this setup, and then she's also the school mascot, and she gets bullied there too. And we
Which
get the
annoyed
whole
me.
yeah.
I
You
was
didn't
like,
like that?
why is she the mascot? She's like doesn't fit in. Nobody likes, like she's like this character, and she's like got all of this like anxiety and stuff, but you're also the mascot of
Well,
the.
she gets to hide under a mask. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah. So what do you guys think of the chase scene between her and the butcher? What's his name?
Just the butcher.
The Blissfield butcher. That's what it is.
Oh.
The Blissfield butcher. Yeah. So what do you think about
It's because
this chase scene?
her mom is so her mom is drunk and has
Mhm.
passed out, and she's been trying to get a hold of her to come pick her up after the football game, and she just got left there in the parking lot waiting for a ride, and the lights go out, and there's the butcher.
Yeah. So let's talk about Vince Vaughn, because as the butcher, he's pretty scary. He does a pretty good job of, because he's a big guy.
He is a big guy,
So
but he's always
physically,
those like he was what in Stepdad, right?
yeah.
He's
No, that
always
movie is called Domestic Disturbance with John Travolta.
Is it?
Yes. And it's wild.
Well, he's always done a good job with the comedy, but he also can play a very intimidating person as well. But you're right, his size lends to that. But sometimes he just gets like that stone cold face, and you're
Uh-huh.
just like, okay.
Yeah, he does a good job as a butcher. Um and in in these scenes when we get to see him, because he's just like I said, he is big, and he fills it out, and he can kind of throw people around and everything. Um but when they switch bodies after the stabbing, and let's talk about her scene first, because she wakes up and she's looking around, and she's the butcher, and she's seeing like Pitch Perfect 2 poster and all this shit in the wall. Her mom's coming in, giving her a hug, and she's just like acting like super weird because he's trying to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But when she wakes up, Vince Vaughn, when he plays Millie, is fucking hilarious. He's amazing.
Oh man.
Yes.
He's at another level of good in this movie, because when he wakes up and he's like, "Why does my voice sound like that?" And he puts on just slight enough of a lisp. You know what I mean? Just slight
Yeah.
enough of like a feminine style voice
Yeah.
that it's perfect. His intonations. And that fucking homeless guy comes in asking for drugs, and he's like, she goes, "No, I'm not a drug person." Do I look like a girl to you with 5'5", blonde hair? Like, oh, you're hot right now.
Yeah. He's like, I want to feel like a teenage girl.
Yeah, give me some of that. Yeah, so good.
God.
But he is fucking awesome in this movie. This is one of my favorite performances of his, because it's just so, he just goes for it, and he does it. He just does it. He's like, okay, this is who I am. This is how I'm gonna act, and he just leans into his improv skills and stuff like that too. It's just so good. So when Millie goes to school, well, the butcher goes to school as Millie, and he's walking around. He gets Millie's body all dressed up as like sexy, with like a cool red jacket. Her hair's up. She looks hot instead of like just normal girl. And immediately just tells everybody to fuck off, and goes to kill that one girl, because that's, what's her name, Ryler? Which, what the fuck kind of name is that, by the way, guys?
She's a cold-hearted bee.
Yep, for sure. Definitely by the end. What do you guys think of her death scene? First of all, what do you think about Millie in the shower, just singing along?
It was great, and when she comes out, she's like, oh, so much better.
Yeah, she has I like how I like how the towel's wrapped around his head, like he has long hair. It's so funny. So good. It smells so much better.
Dude, I know it's
Hello?
a couple scenes away, but I love whenever he first sees her, like the butcher dressed up as her, and like how sexy she is. And first he's like, "Honey," he's like, "Huh?" Like she looks good. Like I look like that, or I could look like
What am
that.
I
Yeah.
Or
wearing?
should I
What am I
look like
wearing?
that?
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about Ryler's death first because
Yeah.
it's a good one. I mean, it's okay. It's not the best one in the movie, but it's kind of like a sillier one. Like he freezes her.
I was
Yeah, there's like a
confused.
Yeah.
cryo
Yeah, why
chamber
is
in
there a
the school.
cryo chamber in this school? I was confused by
So
that.
Yeah.
at first I thought it was like a tanning bed until I
Yeah.
realized that the temperature was going down and not up. And then I was like, okay, well, why would they have a cryo chamber in? First off, that goes to negative 300 degrees.
Right, yeah, that's super safe.
Who
Yeah.
cares? It just is fun.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. And I love right before Millie shuts the door and Ryler is like, is this safe? No.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
closes the door.
This was a great example for like perspective of how big Vince Vaughn is too, because she like closes the girl in there and they're like face to face and like the camera is like way down here. It looks like that chamber is pretty big. And then Vince Vaughn comes up and is like has to like lean down to look into it.
Look at this
And you're like,
human
holy
thing.
cow.
Dude,
Yeah, he's huge.
there's a frame of this where the girl that plays Ryler is walking just with Millie, and she's like this much shorter than Millie. Millie is 5'5" according to the movie, so this woman is like 4'11". She's
Mhm.
like, or at least maybe 5', 5'1". She's like way shorter than her. Like the scenes were
Mhm.
together, she's like taller than her. So
Mm-hmm.
if Vince Vaughn and that woman would have been together, it'd have been like Danielle Harris and Reverend Zombie from Hatchet. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So the actress
But
is
yeah.
5'5", by the way. Who
okay,
played Millie.
yeah. So that girl
That's how
had to be
tall
like
I am.
5'1". Man,
Yeah.
so she's frozen to death and she dies.
I
And
think
then-
also, I just have to say with that is that was super effective for me because there's something about like the fact that that is someone's daughter, you know, like that is someone's, you know, family, and now they are like broken and shattered into a million pieces. Like
That's
there's
funny.
nothing you can do about that.
That's so funny that you put that much thought into it. I was like, she's cannon fodder.
Yeah, no, there's something about seeing a body broken up like into millions of pieces that makes me like, ooh, like I do not like the thought of like somebody is finding those thawed human pieces all over the floor.
So you don't really you don't really dig Demolition Man, huh?
Vince Vaughn is 6'5", by the way. So
Yeah,
It's
yeah, he's
5. That's
only a
pretty
foot
tall.
taller.
that's pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's a foot taller than Millie. She's
Yeah.
5'5", he's 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about the shop teacher kill because that's the next one in the order here. What do you guys think? Because it's a fucking great one. I think the whole scene is really good. What do you think of it?
It is, and you can tell that
The
you
guy's
know,
a piece
the-
of shit.
that too, and I don't disagree with him being killed in this scene. But so Millie Butcher, go
Mhm.
with that. So Millie Butcher is still trying to like thrash these people like she's herself, and kind of getting tossed
But
around.
he's
by
not.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but resourceful because you know she gets thrown on the ground and then she sees the screwdriver and then just right in the neck.
Yeah. So when he throws Millie Butcher, the butcher, and I guess it's he, when he throws him down, yeah, because he tries to sneak up behind the teacher, and then he tries to just run at him over and with the knife to overpower him, and he just flips him over because to his perspective it's just a little 5'5" girl, so he's just throwing her around and kicking her multiple times in the ribs, because he's obviously, like I said, a piece of shit anyway. And then and he's enjoying it. It's not like he's just doing it to save himself, but he's like, "You brought this on yourself."
Yeah.
So then, yeah, he gets stabbed in the neck, and then he gets cut in half by
Torn
that
in
saw.
half,
That's a good
yeah.
kill.
That is a good
Yeah. Ooh,
That's a fun one.
That was a good
That's a
kill.
fun one.
gross.
I like when the butcher walks out of the door in the and clocks the police and looks down, you know, and the police are like, "Ma'am," and that's when he starts to realize, oh yeah, I can do so much more damage this way because I can just hide, you know, in plain sight. But so Millie connects with her friends. She connects with her friends in a really funny scene where they keep fighting her with appliances, with like different kitchen utensils, and it has to do like she does the cheer to like show them that it's her. And this has one of my favorite lines. She says, when he says Josh says, "What's your favorite movie?" I tell people it's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but it's really Pitch Perfect too. Just love it,
dude. Oh my gosh, and I'd hate to jump around like this, but it's just coming to me. The scene where they're in the freaking store and they give him the Aaron Rodgers mask.
That's the best scene. That's the scene that I was telling you about. That's the scene that made me laugh. Dude, that scene made me laugh so hard because first of all, he just looks ridiculous with his stupid Aaron Rodgers face.
Yeah.
And he can't see on top, and it doesn't fit, so he can't see. So she's walking around, and Vince Vaughn's just walking around, and he's like banging into shit. I was saying, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, is that a person? Oh," and it just I was doubled over laughing. I was like, "This is a fucking great scene." And the way that when he's walking with the face on, he like bobbles like this.
Yeah.
So it just adds to it. He's like, "Oh, shouldered up." Yeah, that scene is my favorite.
By the way,
it cracked me up.
That would definitely not draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Well, no,
right.
not.
Yeah.
Well, the best part is he says this is all we could find. It's just an Aaron Rodgers, fucking creepy Aaron Rodgers mask. So nobody would draw attention to somebody wearing like a rubber mask of another person's face. Yeah, I love that scene. That's my favorite. But I also love that they're running from the cops. You know, when the friends finally are like, okay, yeah, this is Millie, running from the cops and everything. But what makes the Aaron Rodgers scene even better is when they're like before that, when they're like on the run, when they escape the cops. I mean, afterwards, and he's like in the back seat. She's like,
yeah.
Could you scoot your seat up a little bit? Can you scoot up a little more? Could you scoot up just a smidge more?
So funny.
So yeah, so good. So they have that whole you know, they found out because they go to the Spanish teacher to have them translate the dagger. And there's some funny jokes with that too. But they basically find out that midnight, you know, 24 hours basically, if they don't switch back within 24 hours, they're stuck in each other's bodies. So obviously Millie does not want to be stuck in the butcher's body. So, you know, those are the stakes. They have to find the butcher, they have to get the knife, and they have to she has to stab him in order to, well, basically herself. She has to stab her own body to reverse it and get back into each other's bodies, you know. But getting there is a lot of fun because we also have we skipped this, but we got to talk about it. The scene where she's in the bathroom peeing, and she's seeing her penis for the first time is so funny. Because the stuff Vince Vaughn says is so good. He's like, oh look, it just flaps around like a little anteater.
It's such a funny scene.
Yeah, he makes that one kid piss himself because she picks him up. Yeah. She realizes how strong she is.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, wow, you don't like being scared, do you? There's also another little scene we got to talk about before we get back onto our journey of fun, which is when Millie is in the dressing room and she has that conversation with her mom. It's actually a really good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was cute and emotional, you know, because she's telling her everything that she wants to, but she can't. And she's reassuring her mom as this stranger. And then her mom asks her out on a date. It's like, oh, God, no. I mean, God, no, because of this. And then I can't because, I would love to actually go, into a,
To
this
dinner
or
with
that.
you.
And then she says, dinner is what we need to do. Okay. And then she goes, but I can't, I'm married.
Yeah.
The line delivery is pretty
Yeah, just so
solid.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very touching
so
moment.
good.
It's also good
Yeah.
to know that, like, if I were her, the thing I would have come out of that is her mom is willing to move on, like she's ready to like take that
Right.
first step forward. Because at this point, she's just been, devastated, and so yeah.
So when this golf scene when they go to the mini golf, there's a line when that one kid grabs Millie's ass, and and the butcher leans into his ear and says, "Your touch makes this pussy dry up like sandpaper, you little fuck monkey," or something like that. And I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking
Dude.
epic.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Yeah.
could have never delivered that line.
I know you couldn't. You can't say the P word.
I can't. But I would have protested.
If you need to.
Well, he has to read the script to the
Oh, okay,
the
gotcha.
movie to different actors, and there's a line that has the P word in it, and
That's funny.
make him read it when we were auditioning actors, so I could observe. So Derek sometimes would like try to like not say it, and I'm like, dude, say the line. So he
Yeah, that's a good
started saying
reason because
yeah, classic. But she tries to kill him, and dude, when they walk into the golf, the mini golf place, and Vince Vaughn's still wearing that fucking Aaron Rodgers head, and the way he's like, and he's trying to, and he's like, I can't hear a thing you're saying.
you can't understand him at all.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So she's gonna go kill the love interest. What's the love interest's name, Derek?
Is it Evan? Is it Evan? Is he the one?
It is. Well, there's Brooke Ryler Char. I don't know. It doesn't show it here, does it?
Doesn't it? Because Isaac is not. Is it? It's not Isaac.
They call him like Booker or something like that.
Booker. It is Booker. You're right. It's Booker.
That just came
Because
to me.
that's one of the questions they ask is what's your who's your biggest
crush? Yeah.
Booker. Yep.
Oh, I guess it is.
That's his last name. Yeah. What's his first name? Or is that his?
But his IMDb
Either way,
picture does not look the same. But anyway,
interesting. But Booker, he's about to be killed by the butcher, Millie Butcher, when Butcher Millie, I guess. Vince Vaughn. We're gonna say Vince Vaughn. Yeah, Vince Vaughn pops in and just knocks a butcher the fuck out with that golf club, because again the butcher's in this little tiny woman's body. So they tie him up, they tie the butcher up and try to figure out how to get the knife. But there's a great scene where Booker wakes up and Millie's talking to him and trying to convince him that it's her, and he's like, would I ever wear that? Do you like how she's wearing that? I mean, should I wear that? Do you like that? And he bites his thumb. Is so good. I was like, oh my god, that is such a teen girl thing to do. It's the best. And then he convinces her with the
poem.
She reads a poem, or she recites a poem that she dropped in his locker, and that's what kind of he realizes. Oh my god, that is Millie. So yeah, that's a good scene. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like that scene.
I agree. Yeah.
The golf, the mini golf maze too is fun.
Would just be like the most impossible. You'd have to like that's a very specific thing. But it'd be hard conceptually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever believe him, but
Right? Yeah,
no, it'd be really hard.
if they proved it, what would you do? You know,
Yeah,
you
I
can't.
know.
I get it, but I would still be like, "Oh, you pulling my leg."
I love how he, the friends once they once they realize it's her, they're like just in all the way. Like we
Yeah.
got to get you out of this body, and we get some fun chasing. So they go to the police station and they leave Josh there with the butcher. And there's some really funny lines here. First of all, he's been bitching about Wicked throughout like the whole movie and how terrible it is. And then we see on TV like the local production of Wicked, and he's like, oh, as he's eating his Cheetos.
It did look pretty bad too.
It did. The butcher's staring at him, and he's like, your little mean stare doesn't scare me. As he's looking at her.
Yeah.
I'm get stuck with murder Barbie, he says. So when the mom comes home, this scene's hilarious.
This is, yeah.
What do you guys think of this scene?
Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
Yeah, he tries to convince his mom that he's straight, and she was
I
like,
I love the way that line's delivered is so good because it's the opposite. He's like, Mom, I've been waiting to tell you, but I'm straight. The camera like zooms in. I'm straight.
Well, because he does that because like he's like we're role playing, and she's like, isn't that like a sex game? And he's like, and the girl's like,
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, and he's like, is it? She's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. He's like, I'm straight.
Yeah,
She's like,
you're a lot of things,
you are
Josh, but
yeah,
but straight is
you
not
are
one of
straight. Yeah,
them. Gosh,
so funny.
Then the butcher escapes, and they take off. But at the police station, there's this. While Nyla's in there trying to get the knife and is held at gunpoint by Char, we have this funny scene with, a kind of sweet scene with Booker and Millie. What do you guys, Derek? Guys, what do you think about this bit?
It's it was interesting. I don't know what to say about it.
Because it is sweet too. Because
it is sweet, and it's really great that he is so like into her as a person, regardless of what the exterior is. Because he moves to the back seat, and then at one point, when
I've always liked you.
I was like, oh my god! And then Vince Vaughn breaks it up, and he was like, how about we don't do this when my hand is as big as your face?
Yeah, bigger than his face. Yeah. It's such a fun scene. It's so funny.
It is a fun scene, man. It's
just
great.
Vince Vaughn being game to go for it is so good too. It just those actors go for it.
You're kind of like good. Cringing at the same time. You're like, oh my gosh, like this is so uncomfortable. But like you could tell they did it very tastefully. So
yeah. What makes it uncomfortable? What makes it uncomfortable is just the fact that the body she's in is the butcher, and he's got like these yellow teeth and shit.
And
you're like,
yeah,
just before we kiss,
you're like,
just know that I have yellow teeth, and
yeah, it's just like she doesn't care. But the fact that she's like, we're as the audience are like, oh, but the butcher, we saw what the living conditions. He did not live well. Like he has dead animals hanging in his abandoned mill that she sends everybody to party. Because she's the town's on lockdown, so she goes to the mill. She tells everybody the abandoned mill. Nobody will ever look there. So, because she was planning on escaping and killing all of them, or at least as much as she can, many people as he can. But that scene's great, and then the butcher escapes, steals a car. They lock Char in the jail cell, and that's really funny too because Millie picks her up and is like, I'm sorry, Char, I'm sorry. And then I thought your hamster could swim, I swear, that's what happened. And like talking about childhood trauma. So funny. Yeah. She's like, I love you, I'll explain it later.
I'm sure.
And I don't know if
so confused. Like what?
Yeah, I don't know if Char ever finds out, really. You know what I mean?
She didn't.
Because it's like,
I wanted her to though.
Yeah, because it's like she's like, in her mind, the butcher tries to, locks her in the thing, but she had to have because the friends they were helping the butcher, so somehow that had to have been straightened out,
Mm-hmm.
But, What do you guys think of this last act in the mill? Because we get a couple of really cool kills in this one too.
I don't feel bad for any of these mofos who died.
No, they're all terrible people.
Well, yeah, because the three guys,
Rapists.
yeah,
Rapists.
that's exactly what they are. The three guys took her and they were like, "Oh, there's three of us, and you got 3 holes." That's just disturbing. And then she's like, "All right, here, give me that drink." I love it whenever she breaks the bottle over the head and slashes the guy in the throat. They deserve it.
Yeah.
They are rapists.
Yeah, you're rooting for the butcher on this one. Yeah. I'm rooting for the butcher at least, yeah. And then when he gets when the butcher grabs a chainsaw and you're like, oh yeah. Chainsaws his crotch first.
Yeah.
And then when Millie finds the bodies, they're decapitated and all messed up. I was like, yeah, that's good. And then Josh gets lured into the back by another guy. Because there's a line he makes earlier in the movie that's pretty funny. Because he says, I want to go to the homecoming to find all the drunk straight boys that are, confused or whatever. He's like, well, isn't that rape? He's like, shut up. Here's what I'm dealing with. And it's the mailman on Tinder. Like, good heavens. But this guy lures him and says, oh, Millie's back here. And then, just makes a move on him and starts, kissing him. And he's like, he pushes him off. He's like, what are you doing? And he's like, calls him an F slur. And he's like, wow, way to, basically have zero self-awareness, guy. Like, you kissed me. And then he gets a hook to his eyeball. That's a pretty good one.
That's pretty good.
Then we get the final confrontation. Well, we think the final confrontation between Millie and the butcher. Derek, both of you guys, because neither of you have seen it. What did you guys think when I want to know what you're thinking about all of this. So when her watch goes off, right? And it's still not midnight. Or, I mean, the watch goes off and you're like, oh my God, she didn't do it. What are you guys thinking?
I was like, just hurry up and do it.
Yeah, you probably got at least 60 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, you might have some time.
I mean, they do flash
and then
back. But
then we get to see why, because he sets the watch because of class. So we get that reveal. Now, when the butcher gets shot, did either of you guys think that the switch didn't happen?
Yes.
I did, yeah. I was worried.
Yeah, and only when they were in the ambulance and they were having the discussion I was like, for sure that it did happen. But initially I was like, maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
I think that's good. Like, I mean, they kind of make you know that it happened because of the conversation with him in the ambulance and they kiss and all that stuff. The conversation between Millie and Booker, and because the butcher would not be privy to any of that.
No.
But so it kind of does, but it still makes you in suspense for a little. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh man, don't tell me that they didn't switch him, and then basically it's going to end with her being like, and the butcher, being either dead or, one of those endings.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that's what I was going to do at first. And then, when they're in the ambulance and everything, I was like you did, Derek. I was like, okay. And then when he flatlines, at first I was like, oh man. And then I saw when we see that he had unplugged the monitor, I was like, oh, so the butcher, that they did switch. That is the butcher. Because even in the house, you could still maybe make a case that it was still the butcher for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the way she's just talking to her mom, you could be like, well, she's playing it up, whatever. But then we get a whole other action scene. Did you guys expect this?
Nope. I thought.
What do you guys think of this?
Going into this scene, I just thought that whenever we saw that the butcher was going to get away, I was like, they're setting up a sequel. Yep. So I did not expect the ending that we got.
What do you guys think of the ending that we got? Slaps, really, I think. Yeah.
I loved it because it really gave them full closure, and it also gave them empowerment, to take back their life. Because I mean, they've been through a lot these last couple of days, and it was just
last day, 24 hours.
Yeah, and so they all came together to defeat this person, And yeah, it was great closure to the movie.
I like it too because it also shows like, there's a. I mean, we get the no, hammer on the head, but when he's talking to Millie and saying, "I've lived in your body, I know your life, you these people, your pathetic sister, and your pathetic drunk mom, and you're afraid of everything, full of anxiety, and basically calling her out on all of her flaws." And she's like, "Well, I'm strong. Basically, I'm stronger than you think, and I learned something in your body too. Getting hit in the ball sucks," and kicks him in the nuts. And then he gets a freaking table leg stabbed into his back, and then she kicks it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says that funny line. What's that last line she says? You guys remember?
She does have a one-liner at the end.
Yeah. It is. Hang on. I'll find out here in a second what it is. For us. The last line is... Oh, the last line is, "I am a fucking piece." That's it.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is. What do you think of this ending, Lydia?
I liked it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. She's like, that's it. That's all I can...
That's it. That's it.
That's your analysis.
Yeah. For like a Freaky Friday, Friday the 13th kind of horror comedy. Thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah. And that's one thing we've neglected to mention is that this movie takes place on Friday the 13th because that's the Freaky Friday when all of this happens for them. So yeah, that's one thing we forgot too, because when she realizes that she's in the butcher's body, it says Friday the 13th on the screen because it's counting down each day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, guys, what do you have to say about that's freaky? What do you guys? Anything else you want to talk about? What do you guys want to say about it?
I'll go first. So this movie was just quite a surprise. I'd never seen a trailer for this movie other than the clip that I saw on YouTube just by happenstance. The comedy in this movie was just next level, especially when
really good.
Vaughn transitioned into Millie. I mean, it was. I don't know how much they paid him for this role, but he did an exceptional job, and I like him as in his comedy roles, and I hadn't seen one in a while, and this was just a great one to add to his, his filmography. He did a great job, and I thought all the actors across the board did a great job. IMDb has this movie at a 6.3, and I feel like that's just completely underrated. I wish this movie would have had a proper release in a year that was more normal.
I think it did. I think it did have a release,
but I looked at the box office. It only made opening weekend like 3.6 million. Gross worldwide was 18. So it did make its money back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, because it was released. Yeah, hand in hand with VOD. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this movie could have found an audience. I'm gonna give this movie an 8 because I had so much fun watching this movie. It was great.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I agree. I think this movie is a blast. Good kills, really fun, really funny, good, acting. Like all of it was. I really don't have any complaints.
No.
Sometimes it's hard for me to take Vince Vaughn serious because I think he is so funny. But yeah, and the girl was fantastic.
Yeah, she's great. Her name, by the way, is Catherine Newton.
Yes, and I recognize her from the Paranormal Activity 3, was it?
One of them, yeah. I don't know. There's so many of those now.
Or Fourth Dimension, something. Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. But I recognize her from that, and was excited that she was in this. Can you guys hear my dog barking right now?
Barely, yeah.
Dang dog. But yeah, I think I'm right there with Derek. I think it was an 8 for sure because, I mean, what a fun ride.
Yeah, I 100% agree with both of you. I did see the trailers for this when it came out. I was excited to see this when it came out. So, like, I was counting down to when it dropped on HBO Max. So as soon as it dropped, as soon as I saw it was on, I watched it because I was like, this sounds like a fun ride. You know, Vince Vaughn in like a Freaky Friday horror film, which is fun to do. High concept horror is fun, especially horror comedy. And, you know, I kind of went in with just like decent expectations, like, it could be okay. And I really enjoyed it. And I think I enjoyed it more on the second watch because it just, I was in the right, it hit me in the right mood, you know? And just the jokes landed real well for me today. And his performance, I think, is just really, really good. And so is hers. She's really good as the butcher. The way her mannerisms completely change. So yeah, I'm also going to give it an 8. It's just like you said, it's a blast. It's just fun to watch. You know, it gives you leave with a smile on your face. And that is Freaky. Guys, it's time to Atkinize this sumbitch. Who would Tom Atkins play in Freaky?
Thrill me.
There's only really one character he can play, guys, honestly.
The guy walking his dog?
No, the gym or the teacher.
Oh, the teacher.
The shop teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I hate that Tom goes out that way, man, but the world would be better off if there were 2 of him.
Yeah. That's no joke. But yeah, I think that's kind of the only role, right? Because there's the old man walking the dog, and then we can't replace Vince Vaughn.
No.
And I mean, Tom Atkins was acting when he was a teenager. Though I guess if teenage Tom Atkins wants to be the love interest, we'd let that fly. But yeah. I think he would be good as that. I think he'd be really funny as that teacher.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, Alan Ruck was really good in it too. He always good in everything he does. I mean, we obviously all know him as Cameron from Ferris Bueller, but another one of my favorites is the one character in Speed.
Oh, God.
The tourist. Yeah.
Or does he say, oh, darn?
Oh, darn. Yeah. Because it's like, you know, say, oh, shit, or whatever. And he's like, oh, darn. Oh, my God. That's so funny. All right, guys. It's my turn to pick. And I've been stewing on it all day, really. Like, I've just been thinking about it off and on. So, I'm going to give you guys a couple of options here. Not telling you what the movies are. Just giving you a couple of genres here, okay? A couple of thoughts. Do you guys want another slasher, an 80s slashic? Do you want a supernatural horror? Or do you want like a more thriller?
Oh man, that's tough. I'm always drawn to the supernatural.
I'm always drawn to slashics, of course.
I know. What are you feeling, Derek?
Man, I mean, if I had a say I would say slasher, 80s slasher.
Okay. Well, in that case, guys, next week we are going to watch the original Slumber Party Massacre.
I thought you might go there.
Yeah!
Yeah! Before you said that, I was like, man, I wish he would do Slumber Party Massacre.
Slumber Party Massacre is what we're watching next week, guys. It's available on Shudder. So, If you have Shudder, you can find it there. I don't know where else it's streaming. I'll find out for non-Shudder heads.
Shudder heads.
I guess it's also on Tubi. It's on Plex. It's on Sling TV. All of those places. Pluto TV. Now, there might be censorship on some of those free platforms, but there's definitely no censorship on Shudder. So, just so you know. Derek, you got a story for us?
Man, too bad I've told that story already. I talked to my brother today, and he and I were reminiscing about the time he got hit by a car
Did you?
and his perspective on
You-
the hospital.
That's so funny. What was his perspective on
Oh.
that?
He was like, because we had gone to the monster truck rally with my aunt's boyfriend, and so from his perspective, Jay was like, yeah, man, me and Joe, we were in the emergency room, like in the room itself, and you were out in the hall just laughing your ass off, and Joe's like,
Well, that is what happened, right?
bastard is like laughs at his brother getting hit by a car, and the fact that the nurses, Jay was saying that the nurses thought that like we were just like not being serious because they kicked me out. But Jay was like, yeah, man, they weren't taking this serious, man, because you were just out in the hall laughing. It's like, well, sorry, man. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity to see
for the new listeners who might be listening. What happened to your brother where he got hit by a car?
I even talked to him about this, man, and I was like, because he's like, yeah, man. Jay was like, when I stepped out. So back up a little bit. We went to a
just tell the story from your perspective. Yeah,
it got out at like 12, like midnight, right? So Indy still had some activity, and my brother. So we're at like a crossroads, and Jay just goes to walk across the street, and the light here is green, so traffic is going. And I grab his arm and I pull him back, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It was like the light's green. There's cars coming. Get back here. He's like, oh, okay.
So this is Derek's older brother, by the way.
Older brother, yes. I was in my like mid-20s. Jay was probably 25, 27, something like that. So we get across the street after the light had turned red and we had to go ahead. And we're walking down the block and our parking garage is on the other side. So instead of like going to the next crosswalk and going over, Jay just decides there's these two cars. He just decides to cut in between the two cars. And when he was telling me that today, he was like, yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. He's like, I saw one car coming and it was like I just got fixated on that one car. Because as soon as that car passed, I just stepped out there, and he was like, I'll never forget the look of that old man and how he clenched his steering wheel and his wife. And I'm like, dude, I'll never forget the vision of you rolling up this dude's car. Yeah, I was like, you remember that your pants like split in half? He was like, oh man, from like the top of the seam all the way down. And Jay had a rush of adrenaline, man. He jumps up, this old dude, poor bastard, in a Cadillac, man, just like watches my brother run away, and then looks back at me, and I'm like, I don't know, man, I don't know. So, because Jay immediately jumps up and grabs his hat, and he's like, come on, man, let's go, and he like runs across the street, and he goes into the stairwell of the parking garage, right? And as soon as I get around the corner of that parking garage, Jay is bent over in pain, man, grabbing onto the railing. He was like, dude, I think I'm hurt really bad.
Yeah. So, but that's what happened. So with the listeners, that's what happened is Derek's brother got hit by a car. And then after they go up the parking garage, they have to still drive all the way back. Why didn't you guys go to the hospital in Indy?
So I think they were still a little high.
Okay.
They were waiting for it to wear off, and Jay initially didn't want to go. So it got worse and worse for Jay the closer we got to Peru, because the adrenaline wore off, and you know, he struggled real hard to go. We were on this like 6th floor, and he was like pulling himself up the handrail to get up to the 6th. I'm like, Jay, why don't you just stay right here and we'll pick you up when we come down. And he's like, no, man, I got this. And so, yeah, then the whole way home, dude, I'm just like fucking losing it and getting criticized by my aunt's boyfriend for being a terrible person. What are you going to do, really?
Dude, the funniest is that you had to stop and get some food. What?
Oh, wow, White Castle. Yeah, we stopped at White Castle. And Jay's like trying, he's got his hand like on each side of the door because he's in the front seat and he's trying to pull himself up and he's like, dude, I can't do it, man. Will you go in and get me a milkshake? I'm like, yeah, I'll go get you a milkshake. While I'm waiting on him, the like either my order to come up or like there were a couple people in line, I call my mom. It's like 2:30 in the morning. Dead sleep. I call her and I'm like, Mom, don't freak out. Jay got hit by a car. And I just start laughing again. To the point where I'm like, I can't talk. And I'm like, Mom, I'll call you right back. And I had to go into the bathroom and collect myself because the people in the bathroom were just looking at me like I'm nuts. Because I'm laughing so hard I'm crying.
And then you got kicked out of the emergency room.
And then I got kicked out of it. So I've got a terrible sense of humor. And I've known this for a long time. I'll end on this note. So Quincy and I this was before we had kids. And after it happened, I'm like, man, karma's a bitch. So we are in a Kroger and it's super early in the morning. And this dad comes in with his 2 kids. His little kid, who's probably maybe 4 or 5, is just running as fast as he can. And he looks back at his dad. And fucking nails his table.
Oh.
Nailed his table in the bakery, dude. His dad picked him up and they left. And I'm laughing so hard, man. Quincy, I thought she might kill me, man.
Oh my god.
That is no joke. I thought she might kill me.
Oh, you know, the funniest part of that is how much you laughed at a little kid running to a table.
Dude, I've never seen anything like it in real life. I've never seen a kid hit a table that hard. He just was like, but it was perfect because he was like, wasn't even looking and just like, got fucking destroyed by that table.
that table laid the wood.
It did, man. It hardcore did.
Oh my god. Well, on that note, speaking of hurting children, that's Derek's favorite apparently. We will say goodbye to you guys. Thanks for tuning in and checking out our show on Freaky. So next week we have Slumber Party Massacre. And also next week, or by the time this is airing, we'll have already filmed, but when we're recording this, next week we are filming the opening of the movie. So, happening. It's really exciting. We have a cast and crew all assembled in a castle. It's going to be a great time. So, we'll show you some, pictures of that on the next episode. We'll have some behind-the-scenes pictures that we'll share with you. So next week, Slumber Party Massacre. You can follow us at HiLaProductions.com. Follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can follow us each on the Twitter machine. You can follow Derek at DDoglyMaster, Lydia at Lydia Spooky, and me at Racket. Be sure to comment down below and tell us if you've seen any kids get destroyed by tables. And let us know what you thought of Freaky. So until next week, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. And remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.